Please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Okay? Alright, so we will get started straight away, and let's have a look at what we have on the news front for this particular week. Typically the first week of the month is packed with news, and this week is no different to any other. We can see that there's quite a few things to look out for, but I guess the highlight of the week is it is a non-farm payroll week. Alright, so we have towards the end of the week, early hours of Saturday morning or late Friday night, whichever way you want to look at it, we have non-farm payroll numbers that are due to come out. We do have our RBA interest rate announcements. Now, just going through and seeing what most panelists and analysts are predicting, pretty much everybody is of the same opinion that there shouldn't be any surprises this particular week like there was last month. Nevertheless, it's been left out there in the open that there could be a further interest rate movement in the next quarter or so. So look, it could happen, but most analysts are on the same opinion this particular week that nothing should happen. Okay, now I'm just relaying what I've been looking into and what I can see as well. I kind of feel the same way about that one as well. Now, generally when the market has that consensus and everybody feels the same way, and should anything be different, that's where we get those really spectacular moves. So please be aware of that. That's on Tuesday 11:30, customary that the first Tuesday of the month is an RBA announcement day. We also have for the Aussie retail figures, retail sales later in the week on Thursday, okay, and GDP figures on Wednesday. So that's all on the Aussie. I think this particular week, because of the amount of data that is coming out for the Aussie, I'll just try and circle them, and for the US dollar pair, this particular week we are top heavy on Aussie USD. So this is going to be our currency under the spotlight this week. It's the one that's going to be most vulnerable to news events that are taking place. So for the newer people in the room, please take note. The times on the screen that you can see here on the left hand side are in my local time, which is Sydney, or Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time. So make a note of that. Of course, all classes are recorded, so you can come back and watch this at any time. We do have also, I can't ignore, GBP is also making their interest rate announcements. So keep an eye on that one. That's Thursday. Basically the Bank of England has said that if there's going to be any movement, the only movement that's going to be is going to be in an upward direction. They have been talking about this for quite some time. We're not sure. It's probably about 80% think that nothing's going to happen, but there could be a little movement in this one, so keep an eye on it. But definitely, if there is any kind of movement, it's going to be on the upside. That should be able to open up the door for the 155, 156 levels, and for the GBP to make somewhat of a comeback against the dollar. Okay. Now, after last week, the dollar, the US dollar that is, it pretty much lost ground against most currencies. All of the data that came out last week, I think it was almost all the data, was below expectation from the US part, so it lost ground to lots of currencies. We'll see that when we go and have a look at our charts in a moment. The Greece thing with the euro ended up being a little bit of a non-event. Everybody settled and they were happy, and they gave Greece an extension of 4 months, so it basically prevented disaster. It's kind of what we said would happen last Monday when we were analysing that. It did eventuate And so the Greece thing continues. Now, one important thing that will be for the euro this particular week that's coming out is Mr. Draghi. Let me look for it. Mr. Draghi's talk. Oh, where is it? I will find it. But basically, the thing that you've got to look out for is the easing program, which was announced I think last month, begins in March. Okay, so the key things to look out for is the quantity that they're going to be buying, although they've loosely said the figures, but and the rate at which they basically come into the market. So those are the key things that we need to look out for from that. Found that it's over here. It's a press conference. That one there, ECB press conference, as Mr. Draghi, and last but not least, Miss Yellen speaks again on Wednesday. Now, last week, everybody was expecting her to land some bombshells, and she was very, very, as the terminology goes in the industry, she was very dovish on her comments, which basically she said, yes, we are happy with the economy, we will be looking at increasing our rates, but we're not in a rush. Okay, so basically that dampened the mood on the US dollar, and hence it lost ground against a lot of the other currencies. Okay, all right, let's get started, and I'll move into my charts. Let's see what we've got. And as always, any questions, call them out, and I will try my best to answer them for you. Let's start off with the Aussie dollar. Okay, this week. Now, there's a couple of things that I wanted to show you on the Aussie dollar. First of all, let me go to a daily chart and really let me zoom in on it. Let me delete these lines for one moment and come back. If you have a look at this, we're kind of all thinking, to me it looks like a really, really nice trend, and particularly, can everybody see this setup right there? Who saw this setup? This one you would have seen this Friday morning. Okay, is the earliest you could have seen it. This is today's candle. This little candle there is Friday's candle. So on Friday morning you would have seen the conclusion of this, and you got a setup there. Can anybody help me out? What have we got? What direction? Okay, Mihailo, well done. We have an engulfing candle. Correct. It's a proper setup. So because it's an engulfing, so essentially you could have started your trade straight away on Friday morning in this direction. Your stop would be just up above the fractal, and then basically because we're on a daily chart, you could go for a 2-to-1 type trade. So what I mean is that's my stop distance there. Okay, and twice that distance would be my target. Alright, so that's on. If anybody wants it, it's still very kind of not too far away from where it originally started. That's the Aussie dollar on a 4-hour chart. Now, interestingly, when I step into a 4-hour chart and I zoom out a little bit, I noticed that I saw this little channel. Let me redraw it. Okay, on this channel here, I've got 1, 2 touches, and at the top I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got enough touches, so it's a valid channel. But more importantly, look at this candle right now. So if you don't really want to trade it off a daily candle, this candle has just popped out of the channel. To be fair, if you're going to trade it based on the channel, you would need to wait for this candle to finish. Okay, there's an hour and 19 minutes, so you can hold out, wait and see what happens. But if this candle finishes outside like that, that in itself is a signal for you to sell into the Aussie dollar. Okay, and basically this is the earliest you could place your stop up there. Okay, you don't want to place it any earlier or any closer than that. Does everybody understand this trade? Okay, someone's saying that it looks like a fishing strip on a daily chart as well, does it? Okay, I didn't see that. Let me go back to my daily chart. Oh, on the top side, I see what you're saying. Give me 1 second. Let me just add a pair of Bollinger Bands. Yes. Okay. So Bajan's saying, for those of you who know the fishing strip strategy, if you don't know it, don't panic. I will cover it over the coming weeks. But there, it's a setup as well on a daily chart. Okay. So this is one of those occasions where we have more than one reason to look at this trade. Okay, so on my 4-hour chart, there's my channel. Let me get rid of these Bollingers now. Okay, so there we have it. Wait an hour and 17 minutes, see what this candle looks like if you want to trade the channel. Now, before I move on, did anybody spot this channel through the week? There was a really good trade right here. Okay, but okay, let's say you can't trade this one because this is the very first time that you can actually confirm. We can only trade in this direction. You could have got that one there. That was a ripper. Did anybody take this trade that I'm pointing at right now? Can I just get a show of hands if you took that trade that's up on my screen right now? Bajan did. Good. Rav did as well. Well done, guys. Okay. When we draw these channels out, at the very least what I would suggest is on your MetaTrader 4, create a profile and just call it your weekly market analysis. Okay, and then whatever we draw here, just leave it as a whole profile, and then when you want to do your own thing, change to another profile. At the very least, you can come back and check, because if you want to become a pattern trader, that's pretty much what I do on Mondays. Okay, and they seem to be quite effective. You just got to be watching at the correct time. So that was a really nice one, that one. Okay, we nearly got an entry here, but it didn't give it to us. See, this little fractal candle just was left stranded on its own, so there was no real trigger, so there's no harm done, and now it appears that we're breaking out, so let's wait and see what happens. Okay. Any questions on the Aussie dollar? Karen took that trade as well. Brett was too busy. It's okay. There's always going to be another one, guys, so there's no dramas. Remember, Aussie dollar is the currency of the week. It's the one under the spotlight. Tomorrow, RBA, retail sales 11:30. Thursday, we've got some more data. And, of course, everything US affects us as well, which is mainly Miss Yellen's, whatever she says on Wednesday, and non-farm payrolls. Okay, so there you have it. Aussie dollar, we're in a trade, okay, off a daily chart, and you know what, I've been wanting the Aussie dollar to go down to 75 and to 70 for a while, so I'm glad I got a setup because this is what I was after. Bang, let's see if I can write it out now. Okay, next let's move on to the Euro USD. Okay, Euro USD, what have I got? We triggered a trade a while back. Last week we all got a little bit nervous because of the Greece thing. The original trade was these two candles right there, and it just hovered and hovered and hovered, and now it just seems to have slipped down a little bit. So two things can happen here. Okay, a lot of people, I'm hearing a lot of noise about people saying, have we bottomed out? Is this the bottom of the euro? Now that Greece is safe, or at least for the next 4 months, all of a sudden there's a lot more optimism in the air. The QE program is being launched this month, so they're going to start to pump currency into the eurozone, which is going to create all these extra things like jobs and spending and stimulate the economy. That's the whole aim of it. So all of a sudden, the euro is not all doom and gloom. Okay, so is this the end? Is this the bottom? I don't know the answer to that, but what I do know is this: if we take out this bottom here, you know, like I really still feel strong towards a short. If anybody is still holding that euro trade, if anyone is still holding it, first of all, congratulations to you for still holding it, because that's persistence. Okay, it's been about 2 weeks. Is anyone holding it? I can't see Lois. Did you close out? Anyone? No? Alan is. Okay, well done, Alan. Look, if it breaks this bottom, it's looking really, really good. Okay, now everybody's talking about, have we bottomed out and are we ready to go back up? All right, a lot of it's going to depend on Mr. Draghi's testimony. All right, what he says regarding the actual execution of the QE program, and a lot of it's going to really come down to the US side of data. Okay, so mainly non-farm payroll. All right, so if I look at my daily chart, in theory I'm still in a trade. I'm not touching anything. Let me step into a 4-hour chart and let's see what I can see. On a 4-hour chart, I really like this top line that I've drawn. Okay, to be honest, I'm not interested in buying the euro at all. Okay, so it's either I'm looking for a good selling opportunity or I'm doing nothing on the euro. All right, so not interested in speculating that it could be a bounce. And look, it could be, but I can't see enough technically to take that trade for myself. Okay, this top line's been holding really, really well. We drew this line last week, and we got there was something there. Did anybody get that? That's really the only one you could have probably got. I think we actually saw this one in the class last week. From memory, Karen was on this on a counter trend. Right there, short. Bijan took it. Anybody else? Okay. Alright, so there was a trade right there, which I think triggered during our class. We didn't get anything else. What I'm particularly interested is just to see the behavior as we come back to this line, okay? And if I was to consider any long trades, what I'd be looking for is a clean break, like a good solid breaking candle to come up and then start the journey up. If I saw something like that, well then maybe I would be interested in going long. Okay, but what I'm particularly interested in is I want to see what's going to happen down here. Let me just check one thing that I just saw. Give me one moment. Who likes that as a channel? I just saw it. I didn't see it before. Does anyone like that? Okay. If this is a channel, okay, you may, if you're a little bit, for it to be a channel, okay, this, when I talk about the first time you can actually trade it, only when this moves up to about there can I then come back and say, yes, this is one of the touching points. Because what could happen is I could start a trade right now. I could start my trade right now, and then this comes down there, and then you go, well, that wasn't a channel at all. All right, so I take a little bit of a risk if I try and take this particular trade right now. Okay, on a 4-hour chart, if I was going to take a trade here, I would wait for the fractal, okay, and it's looking good for it. I would wait for the fractal to pop up on this one. I want this one to be an inside candle, and then I would take the break up. Alright, and it would be this setup here. But if you don't take this one, I totally understand, because until it actually moves up, it's not a confirmed channel. Alright, Phil's asking, is it too wide? No, It's not, Phil. It's, well, let me measure it. Like, it's about 150 pips. That's still okay. If you actually look for this particular channel, I can almost run a middle parallel line through it, and it acts as support and resistance. Remember we spoke about, I don't know if you remember, I did a class where I talked about adding a middle line through a channel, and you notice that it can go there, then it'll bounce all the way up there, then it shoots back, and then it could do this. Okay, so the channel to me looks okay. The only thing that I need to really truly confirm that it's a channel, I need to see this price move up at least to about this level here, and then I can say yes, that's a touching point. And I've got two touching points down the bottom. I've already got my top line's good. Then I can lock in my bottom line. Then I draw that line there and say from here onwards I can take a trade. If I am aggressive, I will try and take this trade right now. Okay, but for the reasons that I already said, I'm not really looking for a buy, and especially off this one. But there you have it. If anybody's a little bit more aggressive and likes it, there's one right there for you. Alright, so that sums up the Euro USD for us for this week. Let me move on to the GBP USD. GBP USD, what have I got? Okay, I'm on a daily chart. I've got a really, really nice trade here. And I've got like about 4 different reasons to take this trade. Let me step through it one by one. Okay, just ignore this white line for one moment. But just like in the Aussie, we've got a setup. Okay, I've got a setup to try and go short. Right, and if I zoom out a little bit, we can clearly see that, we are kind of in that downward slope. Okay, now, so I do have a setup. One reason. 2 reasons. I've got a bit of divergence happening. If I spot from that there, we've got this going downwards, and from here to here, it's going upwards. Okay, so I've got divergence at the exact point that I've got a setup to go short, so that's good. Alright, so that's 2. And the last reason I'll show you, if I grab a set of Fibonacci lines and draw it from up there to the bottom, so what I've done is I'm drawing a line from up there all the way down to here, and then I extend. I'm on a 38.2 level right there where everything is occurring. Okay, so I've got 4 good reasons to engage here with a short trade. Okay, does everybody understand the reasoning behind what I've just shown you? So essentially I'm in a downtrend, the market's pulling up, and it's showing me exhaustion. Okay, it's showing me a signal here to go back down. That signal occurred at the same point where I've got divergence, and it occurred at a Fibonacci key level, retracement level. Alright, so there you have it. Let me just check why I've got this white line here. Let me go to a 4-hour chart. Aha, that's why I got that white line. I think last week I was trying to track a wedge or something. I think I was trying to track something like that. Then it broke down and it's gone up, so we would have got stopped out. Okay, so it's unlucky. But the top line is still holding, and there's no trade with this top line here, but the trade is all on a daily setup. Okay, so it is a big data week. The Bank of England could come and say we're going to increase our interest rates, and absolutely blows our trade out of the water. But from a technical point of view, it doesn't get prettier than this. So I have to trust it. So for those of you that you want it, there is a trade here. Your stop, let's talk through the trade so that we all understand it. Entry can be at current market level. Alright, so it would have been there if you saw it on Friday. Okay, we're almost at the same level, so it's much of a muchness. Your stop's going to have to be up there. And you could easily go for a 2 to 1, which would put your target down here somewhere. That's the trade. We all clear on what we're trying to achieve with this particular one? I think last week we may have got a little setup too. Let me count candles. Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. That little setup here, that two there went down quite a lot. You may have hit at least halfway there. You would have got halfway, so you would have ended up okay before it rose up. Did anybody take that one? Let me just draw it a bit better. It got a bit messy here. That setup right there, and I'll zoom in. So the entry would have been right there. The trade got as high as plus 70. Your stop was only, your stop would have been about 77. So you almost got to 1 to 1. If you didn't take it out, you would have got stopped out. Okay, Karen went short on a H4 on a 4 hour. Yes, there was, because we drew that line in, so there would have been something here. Okay, alright, so GBP USD for the week, we have a setup on a daily. We are sitting on a 38 to retracement with divergence and an engulfing candle setup. If anybody's interested, you can take this trade right now. Okay, let's move on. Let's have a look at gold. Okay, gold. Now remember last week we spoke about the significance of this area here. My lines are still there. I haven't touched them. And we poked through there, but it's held and it's holding. Okay, there was, from memory, I think there was 4 reasons to take a trade. Now what we did was we tried, let me count back so that I can get this right. Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. We were here. This was last Monday, that candle there. And we said we placed a pending order to buy at the break of that candle. We were going to do something a little bit different, but then we broke the low. So in theory you should have cancelled your order out, so you cancelled, and then the very next day, because it's still around the same, you could have done exactly the same thing, and this would have cancelled the order. That's a bit lower, and then if you persevered with it, you would have got an entry here. The entry you would have got was right there, and the trade would be roughly, by the way, did anybody get in? So it'd be up about 149. Anyone take this gold trade? It was a little bit trickier because on the Monday I didn't see these two candles, but if you applied the same principle on Monday, you did it on Tuesday and on Wednesday, you would have got a trigger on Thursday morning into the trade. No one? No one took it from what I can see. That's okay. Okay. Yep. Everyone's saying no. Alright. Not a problem. What's very important out of this is to get a feel and an understanding how strong our support lines that we drew, particularly this one down through the middle. Okay, very, very strong. It was the 1200 combination. Okay, then we had this line here, very, very strong. They all held, and I think there was a Fibonacci from here to their retracement of 61.8. So there was a lot of reasons to like the trade. You just have to just try and massage it through, and sometimes you do have to move your lines a little bit. Alright, now this week, see, technically I would still be in this, so I'm not doing anything right now. I'm actually liking that this can bounce a little bit more, so I don't have anything on a daily chart. Let me have a look at a 4 hour. Well, there looks like there's some kind of channel that's just been broken up here as well. Is it a channel or not? It's not too bad. Okay, it's not perfect. But what I like about it is that we've popped out. Alright, so if I was in a long trade, I would, and my trade's still on, that makes me feel very good. Alright, it's an extra confirmation. So for this week with gold, we best do nothing. If you don't have if you're not long, that's okay. There's no dramas. But we're not gonna. I've got nothing new. Alright, so we just got to ride that one out, and it's on the basis of this daily chart over here. Okay. Alright, let's have a look at the US yen. Let me go to my daily chart first. Okay, for the time being, let's just ignore that. We've been tracking this triangle, alright, and essentially it hasn't given the normal breakout of the triangle. Okay, it's broken, but then it's just dawdled, so it's not your traditional looking breakout. That's unfortunate. Alright, having said that, if you're still in this, the trade is still in the green. Okay, so it's in the it's on the plus side, which is still okay. What I did notice when I went into a 4 hour chart, what did I notice? Now I can't see it. I had parallel lines on there, but I can't remember which way I saw it. Oh, yeah. Okay, roughly there. Yep. Alright, so what I'm particularly, this one could be one of those cases where through the middle here, I wouldn't mind tracking that line through the middle. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is this. I'm interested here to see if I cross over to the other side, or if I can bounce it back in there, because it is a pretty wide channel. So this spot here is my hot spot. We are approaching it very soon, to see what happens. If you don't like it off there, we'll then need to wait for either the extremities. Okay, so the bias is that we're still, we're still long on this, so we just want to see what happens through here, if we can cross over to the other side and see if we can get this trade moving. Alright, so it's pretty much all I've got on the US yen. Just remember, very important that you understand that this break out of the triangle is not normal. It hasn't happened with the way that you would normally expect it. Alright, now they're still showing signs of reasons to be long, alright, or to find long opportunities, But so now we're looking at particularly if I break this bottom line, I would be concerned. Okay, if this, sorry, that drew that a bit crooked. If we break this bottom line here that way, then all bets are off. Okay, so as long as we stay above it and we keep using it as a bounce, we're still on the right track. Tom saying, is there a T chaser on gold on a 4-hour chart? I'll have a quick look for you, Tom. Alright, so before I do that, US yen, so let's just keep track of this, see how we go. Let me just draw this line a little bit better, like that. So there's a little channel in here, and these are pretty parallel. Okay, so there's a big channel and a little one inside, which is bounded between there. Okay, alright, so let's see what happens on these fringes. Let me go back, gold 4-hour. Zoom in. Yes, you're correct, Tom. There is a T chaser set up on a 4-hour gold. That is a signal. We've got 1, 2, 3. It closed above that one and closed. So that's an extra confirmation that would make you feel good. If you already took that gold trade and you're in it, that will give you an extra feel good factor. Okay. Let me just change my template back so that. Oops, what happened? I'm working my MC4 a little bit too hard. Just 1 second, guys. Any questions? I just don't want the program to crash on me because then I might just drop out. So I'm just leaving it to do its thing. I just had to bring up a different platform. Okay, so alright, so where was I? Euro, or up to the euro yen. Okay, euro yen. Let me see. We were tracking this 4-hour channel last week, and it's still in play from what I can see here. We got definitely from this point onwards, it was tradable. Okay, so did anybody take this little? It's a funny looking trade. That one there. Did anyone take that one? Anyone? If not, did anybody take this one? That was a good one too. None of them. Okay. Bummer. Alright. So, I think Karen may have. Alright. Because this was a nice channel. I like this one. I'm still happy to keep using this channel. So, I'm particularly interested to see what happens here. Alright. So, keep it on your radar. Let's see if we can pick up a trade down here back into the channel. Let me have a look at a daily. Let's see if there's anything showing on a daily. 1 second. There was that daily trade that we took a little while back, which is still in play, and it's coming. Oh no, we didn't take it because it was a double fractal candle. It was that one there. Didn't take it. That's okay. I'll take that back. All right. So basically, Euro Yen 4-hour channel hotspot around about here. Keep an eye on it. We probably got to get a trade out of this one. All right. So this top line looks particularly good. The top line looks really good. So if we do get good Euro news, then don't discard the opportunity to cross over and out of the channel. Okay, Ravi's saying there's a T-chase on the daily. I'm going to take your word for it, Rav. I don't want to change the profile. I think there's something wrong with my profile. I might have a bug on it, so I don't want it to crash on me like it just did just then. All right, but I trust that you know what a T-chaser looks like. So have a look on a daily, guys. There's probably a T-chase on the Euro Yen as well. All right, let's move on to the Kiwi Dollar, and let's see what we got. Kiwi Dollar. Let me have a look. Okay, last week I had this line drawn on my chart, and we had crossed it cleanly. It started to go down, and then it's come back out. So if you took that trade, unfortunately, you've been stopped out. Okay, so but that's done. Let me get rid of that line now. Hang on. I remember what I was trying to say last week. I was particularly looking at that line with this region here, and I was saying we're getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and let's see what happens, because this region here is an older region. You will see it on a daily chart, is that older region there, okay, where it was the support level for all of that. Alright, so we're still right there right now. Let me zoom in a little bit and go back to my 4-hour chart. Unfortunately, if we traded just a break of this line, we would have got stopped out. However, if you traded it, like I said, it's really a triangle. So if you traded it like a triangle, you're technically still in this trade, because that's the triangle. The triangle was being formed by that support line, okay, and it would have come close. Did anybody trade it, by the way? Okay, if you did, just show me. Show of hands would be great. But in any case, it's coming out now. Can I redraw this line? Let me see if I can redraw this. Kind of, not really. But what I do like about this right now is I'll show you. Let me get rid of these. Let's go to a daily. It's the same. We got a, what have we got here? Do we have an inside candle on a downtrend, or or an inside candle on that supporting table? Are we happy with that, guys? If we get a break there, are we happy to short? Who likes that? That top line is still holding that region. Okay? It's still holding. If you took this trade based on that triangle that we created last week, well, I didn't draw it like let me just draw it so I don't confuse anybody. So if you, last week I drew a triangle that looked something like, probably like that. Okay? If you traded out of that, you're still in this trade. If you did not trade last week, this has given us a signal of resistance up the top there off this key level which used to be support. So that's a nice reason to take a trade. Alright, if you do, the way that you would do it is it's an inside candle, so you need to wait for the break of this bottom, of that bottom there. You go down, your stop's going to be up there, and 2 to 1 is acceptable here. So meaning, the trade will look something like that. Does everybody understand that? It's also a 61.8 retracement, Greg says. I think it kind of does look like it for my eye. Let's check it. Yes, it is. Okay, so Greg's also saying if I draw Fibonacci from there to here and I extend it, retraces back to the 61.8 retracement level. Alright, so there's lots of things showing for this trade as a short. Alright, now if you take the GBP, the Aussie and the Kiwi, they're a little bit correlated, so maybe you may not want to take all three. But this top line or area comes from that old resistance. When we zoom out, you can see it there. That's that grey area. So it's a strong level, and it's on a 61.8, and we've got a signal showing exhaustion, and it could be coming back down. Okay, so there you have it, Kiwi Dollar. And the final one for the week, let's have a look at the Euro Aussie. Now, this is what I had on my chart last week. I had 2 points down the bottom. I had 2 at the top, of course, including those as well. So I was happy, and it was like a descending wedge, which the first time you could have taken anything would have been here, which didn't really give you a proper setup. It's not a proper setup to go long, so you couldn't have traded that. The only thing that you may have done is if you traded this one out of the wedge down. But remember, when the wedge is pointing downwards, are you allowed to trade it down? Yes or no? Graham says no. Karen's saying yes, question mark. Anybody else? Rajan says yes. Brett says no. Okay, Rav, yes. Oh, it's a split decision. Wow, we might have to review this. The answer is no. The reason is, well, look, in theory you can trade it if you want to, but if the wedge is angled down, okay, the types of trades that you're looking for are inside the channels like this, and to break out in the opposite direction of the incline. Okay, so this trade down here is the only one that you really don't trade. If the channel is going upwards, you look for this trade, you look for this trade, and you look for this trade. But this trade up there, you do not look for that particular trade up there. Is that clear for everybody? So you don't really want to break in the same direction of the gradient, is what I'm really trying to say. Alright, so that means that over here, nobody should have taken this trade. And that's okay, so we're safe. We didn't get hurt. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can redraw it. Let me try and see if I can squeeze in some parallel lines. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to massage it in. No, I can't. So it's a no. Let me get rid of them. I do like my top line. My top line is good. And let's see if I can just readjust the wedge. Okay, so the rules are still the same. Alright, so there was no opportunities here to go long, so it's okay. So what we're going to be looking for here on the Euro Aussie is we're going to be looking there. Okay, that's the next position that we're after. We're looking for this, or we're looking for that. Are we clear? Yep. Okay. Alright, so let me review what we've covered. Let's, from the top, Aussie Dollar. We, on a daily chart, have got a setup to go short. You can enter the trade now. It's a little bit of a worse price than what you would have got had you done it on Friday morning. We also had a channel. I've changed platforms, haven't I? So I've got to redraw it. So I think we got a channel there, and if you want, you can wait for this candle and see where this candle ends up. Okay, Euro USD. We on a daily chart, we're on a downtrend. On a 4 hour, did I have something here? No. So we're still on a downtrend with this one. What's going to be key with this one is data, and let's see how we react to the new stimulus program, which commences in March. GBP, USD. We're tracking this channel. Okay, but mainly I remember there's a daily. On a daily we got divergence, and we got a setup to go short on daily. Okay, that's what we had. Sorry, because I changed platforms, I forgot what I had drawn on my charts. Gold, we're still in gold. That point held from last week. We're still long, and we had a T-chaser set up on gold as well on a 4 hour. US yen, we're still on the up break. On a smaller time frame, there was a channel, very wide channel, which we discussed. So we're looking, and it's got a middle line through the channel as well. So just go back and have a review of that. Euro yen, our channel is holding. Let's see if we can get a trade out of the next touching point. Kiwi Dollar, 61.8 retracement, inside candle on a previous support. Really nice setup to go short. And finally, Aussie Dollar, Euro Aussie that we just saw. We've got a descending wedge, and the next hot spot is up here. Any questions? No? Alright, so once again guys, this week, very big data week, okay? So please take note. Again, RBA announcement tomorrow, as well as building approvals, trade balance and retail sales on Thursday for the Aussie as well. So, and plenty of US data, non-farm payroll week, of course. Bank of England, the interest rate decision as well. So please take note. Don't get caught in a trade accidentally not knowing that there is something coming out. Alright, other than that, have a fantastic week. Send your emails through. If you have a screenshot or anything, send them through. I'll review it for you, and I will see you all on Thursday at 3:30. Bye for now, guys. Cheers.